Welcome to the Budget Mom YouTube channel. I'm Kamika Love from thebudgetmom.com, and today we are doing a full recap of my December budget, my last budget of 2019. So as you guys know, I really like to look at what my spending is telling me. Awareness. Bringing awareness into your life and knowing where all of your dollars are going throughout the month is really going to help you tweak and perfect your budget in the future. So one of the ways that I do that is I like to close out my budget at the end of my tracking period. So what is your tracking period? Your tracking period is when you decide you want to track your spending. Now, when I say tracking period, it doesn't necessarily have to be a specific 30-day month format. Maybe you decide to track your spending from the first paycheck of this month to the first paycheck of the following month. It really is all up to you what makes sense in your mind and the pay schedule in which you get your paychecks. So the first thing that really helps me when closing out my budget, and what closing out your budget really revolves around, is your spending. I use the highlighter method when it comes to tracking my spending. I'm a manual tracker, and so I have a different expense tracker for every single area of my life that has money movement. And what I mean by that is, so maybe you're spending on a credit card, a debit card, and then you're doing some cash spending throughout the month. You should have an expense tracker for all three areas of your life that has that money movement. So it would be the cash, the debit card, and then your your credit card. In my case, I'm an all cash spender, which means I only spend cash, and then I have a checking account that is only used for receiving income and paying my bills. So with my cash expense tracker, it looks like this. And as you can see, it has all these highlighted colors. And right over here is what each color represents. So I like to highlight my expenses in like categories. So for instance, all of my food expenses are in this really light blue. Insurance is in orange, which actually isn't on my cash expense tracker. Car purchases like gas and maintenance, that's in purple, and so on. So with my cash expense tracker and my checking account expense tracker, I add up what all these expenses look like and what all the spending looks like for this one finished page. When it's all done at the end of my tracking period, I use 3 different worksheets to tell me and help me figure out where my money went and what if my spending is aligning with my financial goals. One of those sheets is the monthly budget category breakdown. And this is just essentially letting me know if I was over or under budget for my tracking period. Now, I have all of my categories for my budget written down here, and I did have some holiday spending in December, some Christmas shopping. So if you're seeing anything in red, it means I was over budget. If you're seeing anything in green, it means I was under budget. Now, my total monthly income, I get questions about this every single time I do a recap. A lot of comments and messages like, your income is so high, why is your income, what does that include? So your total monthly income consists of several different things. It's not necessarily just earned income. It's your starting balance. What is your starting balance? Your starting balance is the money that you have in your checking account or your cash envelopes. If you're a cash envelope user like I am, what amount is left in your checking account in your cash envelopes the very first day of your tracking period? Because if you didn't use that income last month, you're rolling it over and carrying it into the new month because you're going to be spending it or you have a plan for it. So that's your starting balance. Incoming income is anything. It's your paycheck, it's child support, it's alimony, it's any savings that you use that you saved in prior months, it's gift cards. All of that is incoming income. My total monthly income was $7,332. Of that, $2,598 was starting balance. So that was unused income that I had from the previous month. And then my incoming income was $4,734. Now, I was over budget in a couple of different areas, one being my food budget. It's actually funny because in the month of December, I did a crock pot challenge. And that challenge consisted of me only using my crock pot for recipes for the entire month. I actually saved money when it came to my grocery haul, so me making grocery trips for my meal plans. Where I didn't succeed, though, was eating out. And that's where I pushed me over my budget for my food budget, is because the holidays were around. I was going out with dinner with some friends. I had the money set aside, though, in my checking account cushion to eat up what I was over in my food budget. I was only over by $24, so not a huge amount. I was also over in utilities, my beauty, and then I saved more in the month of December than what I had planned, so by $838. So this monthly category breakdown is figuring out, were you over or under your budgeting goals for that specific month? The next worksheet that I use is the monthly debt and savings breakdown. Now, has anyone ever asked you, have you ever thought to yourself, how much money did I save last month? Or I wonder how much debt I paid off last month. That's a great question. But the real question you want to be asking yourself is, what are you saving for? It's nice to know a total of how much you save, but what you're really wanting to know is the specifics of your savings. Where is your money going? Because you want to make sure that your spending is aligning with your financial goals. And when it comes to savings, like me, I'm saving for 7 different things. And some things are more important than others. I want to make sure that where I'm placing my savings is going to the savings goals in the priority in which I want them to go, which means I have savings that are more important to me than others. Same with debt. If you were on a debt payoff journey, it's great to know how much money you threw at debt for the entire month. But what you really want to know is, what debt are you tackling or focusing on? Now, on a debt payoff strategy, if you're on a debt payoff journey, one of the things that you would have had to determine is, how are you going to pay off your debts? Are you going to pay off debts with the highest interest rate first? Are you going to tackle debts with the smallest balance first? Once and when you choose your debt payoff strategy, you want to make sure that you're paying off the debt and you're throwing money at the number one priority in your debt lineup. So I am debt free. However, I did fill out my savings. So I saved 32% of my income in the month of December. I saved $2,338. That's the total amount saved. But remember, the main question is, what specifically am I saving for? So I'm saving for sinking funds. Now, I did start a new savings challenge towards the end of December. I'm calling it the $5 challenge. I am challenging myself to save every $5 that I come across from now until the end of 2020. And I'm just storing all of them in here. And here's the thing, with the $5 challenge, I don't have a specific goal of where this money is going to go to, not right now. I'll decide that at the end of 2020 when I finish the challenge. So right now in my budget, I'm just calling it $5 challenge. I save for a house. I have a puppy fund, so when I do end up buying my house, I want to get and adopt a puppy, so I'm trying to save in advance for those expenses. Vacation and $529, which is my son's college fund. So here's a little background on my vacation savings account. I like to save for vacations that don't have a specific place in mind. So it's not like me saying I'm saving to go on a vacation for Hawaii. My vacation fund savings account is a little bit different. It's basically for any short-term or very small vacations that happen that are unplanned. So for instance, one of those things is, I'm actually going to Palm Springs here in a couple weeks in January for a baseball trip that was unexpected with my boyfriend, Chris. I like to have that vacation savings in place so it will allow me to do those types of things in my life without relying on debt to have them. So that's what my vacation savings is, not for a specific destination per se. So Out of all those things that I'm saving for, 74% of the money that I saved went to my house savings account. 13% went towards my sinking funds, which is saving for future holidays and events. 3% went towards the $5 challenge. And then vacation and my 529 were last in line, followed by my puppy fund. Here's why this is important. This is telling me what is important to me. If 74% of the money that I save went to my house fund, obviously my house is my number one savings goal, followed by my sinking funds, which is preparing me for the future, and then vacation, 529, and puppy. Your spending should be aligning with those financial goals. This is the sheet that's going to tell you if it is. The next one that I like to fill out is my monthly spending comparison. How did your spending compare to last month? Why is this important? If you set yourself little goals throughout the month, which I always recommend that you do, you should always be challenging and pushing yourself to do better as you go along on this journey, whether it's tweaking your budget and really pushing yourself to save in certain areas of your life. This sheet is going to tell you if you're hitting those goals. So for example, maybe last month you felt like you spent a little bit too much on food and you're saying, next month I really want to kind of decrease my food spending by $100. This is going to tell you. So in November, I only spent $200 in food. In December, I spent $400. So it increased, it doubled. Now my regular food budget is $400 a month. So in November, I really did not spend that much. I spent half of my food budget than what I normally plan for. So for it to see it increase, I'm totally fine with that. Insurance in December decreased by $307 for me. Why is that? Because I had to renew my insurance and I ended up paying for my dental insurance premiums in November, not December. So I didn't have to pay them in December. So if you're seeing it in red, I spent more than last month. If you're seeing it in green, I spent less than. Now, up here at the very top, if you're using the Where Did My Money Go worksheets in the Budget by Paycheck workbook, monthly income change. My income decreased by $144 compared to last month in November. If your income is increasing or decreasing, your spending should compensate for those changes. And that's really what's going to show you right here in the change column of the monthly spending comparison worksheet. So my income decreased, not by a whole lot, but I also had big areas of my budget where I had to reflect those decreases. So that's the monthly spending comparison. Now there's one last thing I want to show you for my December budget recap, and that's my sinking funds trackers. And they look like this. So at the end of December, I figured out and realized I'm already almost hitting some of my savings goals for 2020. So I already hit 4th of July savings. My son's birthday is already saved for, and I'm getting really close to Chris's birthday as well. So sinking funds. Sinking funds are something that you save a little bit every single month for a specific purpose or goal. For me, I like to plan out and save for my holidays and events in advance, so I have the cash available when the time comes up in the future, so I don't feel pressured to use my credit card. One of the great things about sinking funds, take for example, Christmas. I used to have so much money go on a credit card for Christmas because I wasn't financially prepared when the time came. Now, I have a goal to have $2,000 saved for Christmas in 2020. That's what sinking funds are. So these are my sinking funds visuals. We are getting a ton of questions about the Budget by Paycheck workbooks and when we're going to have more stock of these. So we do one launch per year, which is in October, but we always have the printable version available. So if we run out and we no longer have the ship version that comes to your door printed like this already for you, if we don't have this in stock, you can always get the printable version of the workbook. You can just print it off at home and put it in a 3-ring binder. I'll make sure to put a link to that product in the description of this video. So that is my full December budget recap. If you found this video helpful, please like it and don't forget to subscribe. Done. Okay, next. Oh my God, I'm throwing $100 bill.